Hello, everybody out there. Welcome back to the Mebois Podcast, episode 6. It's a rare return to form. I'm Josh.
And I'm Ray.
I thought, you know what, since we're coming back and making another long form video, even though our short videos are long as well, I thought maybe we talk about what we've been playing, what kind of games.
Back to our roots, so to speak.
Yeah, our 1 month old roots, or maybe 2 months at this point.
It's just a little branch, a little twig,
sapling.
There you go.
So Ray, what have you been playing?
Well, my brother came to me. He said that there was a new battle royale game that a lot of the streamers he likes were playing. So he wanted to try that out, which is people probably heard it. It's Apex Legends. Everyone's playing it. I'm not typically a fan of battle royale, just because I'm not really a fan of shooters.
Right.
Because I'm not very good. And
I mean, yeah, that's a good reason. Yeah.
While I'm not very good at Apex, it is pretty fun.
Now did you play PUBG?
I got on the PUBG train very, very late.
Right.
By the time I got it, people had really, for the most part, stopped. Well, at least the mainstream. It was no longer in the mainstream or hyped anymore.
Right.
But I played it. Also, wasn't very good. Played Fortnite. Fucking hated that. And
we like Fortnite.
And now I'm playing this. I also tried a Realm Royale, which has like wizards and archers and other stuff.
Oh, yeah, more of like an RPG type thing.
Yeah, but still a battle royale.
Right.
But this one's fun. I don't know, is Overwatch not a battle royale, is it?
No, that's like a team deathmatch kind of game, basically.
Okay. I think it's similar to, from what I know of Overwatch, it's kind of similar to that because everyone has a class in this game.
Oh yeah. I've only seen it a little bit about. I was about to say Realm Royale, about Apex Legends. But I did notice there was they looked like pretty traditional first person shooter classes, like specialists and stuff like that. I don't know exactly what they are, but
yeah, it's there's one guy there's obviously the medic, someone who does shields, someone who's attack specialist, things like that. So it's pretty fun. Lots of different kinds of weapons. Map's pretty big. I think it maxes out at 60 players. Right now there's not a lot of, there's just the one game mode, just the one battle royale. No, and it's a 3-man squad. So they'll probably add more once the first season starts.
Do you know when that is?
I have no idea. I think it's soon though, like within a month.
Is it do they just have one map?
Just one map so far.
I feel like Fortnite is like that. Is Fortnite still like that? Do they still only have one map?
They have one map, but they keep making changes to the map. So they'll have one area which was forest. Suddenly it's all gone. The forest, it's burned down in one other season.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember they had some sort of developments like that. I remember people getting upset with Fortnite just because they felt like it was weird that they kept adding in mechanics and different weapons. Didn't they add in planes and stuff towards the end there?
Yeah, there are planes and quad bikes.
People just felt like it sort of overcomplicated everything. I never played it, but it's sort of interesting to see how quickly these wildly popular games sort of fall out of favor as streamers move on to the next thing. That's sort of when it happens.
Yeah, I think, and that's part of the reason why Apex is trending, basically, is because they sponsored a bunch of streamers.
Well, I know Ninja moved over to Apex. And I don't watch Ninja, but I remember seeing that and I was kind of surprised because I sort of felt like, wow, this guy was just like Fortnite all the time. And now all of a sudden he's playing this and he's sponsored by them.
Yeah, my brother says, because my brother watches Ninja, he says that in terms of Fortnite, Ninja's never been a builder, never been the best builder. He's always been a guy with really good aim. So moves over to Apex, that works really well for him.
I saw there was a lot of mobility type moves right in Apex. Like there's sort of like a was there like a grappling hook or something along those lines?
There's a what's it called? One character can do grappling hooks. That's one of his abilities.
Okay, it's a specific ability.
Yeah. So the robot character who kind of looks like Chappie from the movie Chappie.
Mm-hmm.
He does grappling hooks, and then his main ability is to create a big grappling hook. That's like his special ability. His ability that only recharges every 2 minutes or whatever. His ability that recharges every 15 seconds is when he hooks onto a building and just takes him.
So there are abilities with cooldowns. That's interesting.
Yeah. So like another example is there's a guy who's basically a hunter tracker.
Mm-hmm.
His quick cooldown ability is being able to basically see where the enemies are when it's close combat. He can find them.
Mm-hmm.
And then his main ability, his special ability is like to go into hunter mode, and he moves quicker, attacks better, things like that. He's on roids, basically.
Right. So not all players have the grappling.
No, but there are. What's the word for it?
It's like parkour.
No. Well, there's a bit. I guess there's a bit of parkour because you can climb. You can climb pretty high in this game.
Right.
There's a bit of that, but what's it called when you use a rope to go from one place to another?
Like a zip line.
Yeah, there are lots of zip lines in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have zip lines regardless. But for example, if the zone is closing in on you, and you have the Chappie character, and his special ability has cooldown, he can use it. He can make his own zip line.
Okay, that's what the big zip line is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once again, I've seen very little. So like what I did, I think I saw a Ninja playing it, and I guess he was that character because I saw him zipping around, and it reminded me a lot of one of these games tried to do a battle royale, like a more traditional FPS. Was it Black Ops that did like a battle royale?
Yeah, I think Black Ops did, and so did Counter-Strike.
Really, Counter-Strike, I didn't hear about that. I think it was Black Ops that I was thinking of, though, because they had, I think everyone had like a grappling hook type thing. I remember I watched a little bit of that. I think Summit was playing it, and so I listened to his annoying voice for a couple of minutes looking at that, and then I stopped. Do you know Summit?
No, I don't know Summit. Maybe if I heard the voice.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it's not. I mean, it's not so much as his voice is just annoying. It's just like, I guess it's just not for me. Just the personality just doesn't. I mean, the same reason I don't watch Ninja really.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Ninja either.
But just some weird energy. I like to. What I like about Ninja is I get to see every couple of weeks or so, I get to see a clip from him ending up in some cringe compilations or something of him just like freaking out or pretending to freak out, and then that's even weirder. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, the really famous one is he yelling at a kid, I think.
Oh yeah.
That was funny.
It's just like, I don't know how people. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on them because I haven't watched, so I don't really know. But I don't know how I could watch that shit just because, like, you saw the thing with him reporting that guy for stream sniping, even though he didn't have any proof that he was, just because he emoted or whatever.
I think I saw that.
It's just like stupid shit like that, where it's like, why would I watch somebody who's just like so, I don't know.
There's
Uh,
I will say there's one guy who's so much worse. I don't know his name. He's the guy who's like jacked and he's bald and always freaking out.
what are you talking about, Dark Side Phil?
I can't remember his name. I don't. I don't.
I mean,
wanna
yeah, there's a
know.
million people worse.
Yeah.
There's content out there for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it is interesting to see these trends change. I mean, I imagine Fortnite is still wildly popular. It probably will be for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think, I mean, even PUBG is still somewhat popular.
It is. I
Like,
think.
as compared to a lot of different games, it's pretty up there.
Yeah. My brother comes to me with all these stats. Like when Apex came out, the amount of people watching Fortnite streams went down, and
Mhm.
then PUBG streams in terms of like audience has gone down a lot. But I'm sure it's still super popular. I think the thing with PUBG, I think people are kind of sick of the glitches and the amount of people who I know there's a lot of cheating going on that isn't managed. Like people use cheats like making themselves really fast, making themselves be able to walk through walls,
Mhm.
just shit like that. And then it, well, I don't know exactly, but the idea I'm getting is that they get away with it.
Yeah, maybe there's just not as much support. Now that their game isn't the number one, they're like, oh, well, fuck it. Yeah, I'm looking at Twitch now, and so Apex Legends is number 2 with 190,000 viewers behind Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which is 300,000. Good to see Counter-Strike still up there.
Wow.
And then Fortnite is number 5 at 135,000 viewers. I mean, this is all right now
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday morning, so obviously these things change.
Right.
And
What's
then
3 and 4?
3 is League of Legends at 177,000, and 4 is Dota 2 at 175,000.
Okay.
So like League, Dota, Counter Strike, those are just anomalies that will stay there for years probably.
Yeah. My,
uh,
my friend, he gave our podcast a listen, and he's like, "So you guys are mostly going to talk about games?" And I said, "I mean, I think games is probably something we'll cover a lot, just because that's where you and I like overlap a lot."
right.
And then he says, "Oh, you guys should talk about Dota 2." And I said, "I don't play Dota 2, and I don't think Josh plays either."
I have played it,
You have played it?
but never. Like I played League much more than it,
Okay.
and even League I didn't play like a lot.
That was a weird thing I noticed, because I think you noticed. My college roommate played a lot of League, and then my friends here played a lot of Dota. So I'd be on Skype with my friends here, friends from here when I was in college, and then they'd be like, "Oh, what's your roommate up to, dude? Let me talk to him." Just dumb shit. And he's like, "Oh, he's busy playing League." He's like, "League? Oh, dude, what the fuck?"
Oh yeah, there's that weird competition between them. I feel like there is a lot of overlap between the customer base, but yeah, people always have people have a lot of shit to say about League. I feel like a lot more so than they have shit to say about Dota, but League is just more popular.
Yeah.
Partially because I think it's more accessible. But yeah, no, I played Dota for a little bit, just casually. I mean, it's a MOBA. It's good. I mean, it's obviously good. It's number 4 on the most streamed right now. But the same reason I stopped playing League too. It's just like I mean, first of all, I'm not great, but that's not a reason not to play the game. It's just more so I don't. I get tired quickly of hyper competitive games
Mm.
because there's really nothing to do but compete against other people. I mean, that's the whole point of the game, which I understand. But it's like that doesn't really appeal to me as much. So those games have a shorter life for me. Whereas for some people, I mean, that's what keeps them playing for thousands of hours. But for me, Um, but anyway, all this to say, PlayerUnknown's Battleground is number 9 at 46,000.
So
Well,
still
close to
good.
47. Yeah, I mean that's really high. I mean that's above Anthem. Anthem just came out. That's like double Anthem's viewership. It's higher than Hearthstone. It's higher than Resident Evil 2. It's higher than WoW. Um, Higher than Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I think that was the one I was talking about. Higher than Overwatch. Uh, Higher than Minecraft. Oh my god. Um, Metro Exodus is all the way down at like 8,000. So yeah, I mean it's still very well up there. And I mean that's part just like I was saying about people playing thousands of hours of League. It's the same thing basically. Obviously different game types, but it's the same sort of the competitiveness is what keeps the game alive for a long time.
Yeah.
I say a long time. I mean it hasn't been out for that long, but the fact that it's above all these other games is pretty impressive.
Yeah, true. Are there games that are coming out you're looking forward to?
Games that are coming out. Yeah, I started keeping a list. On my, I just got distracted by looking at
On your
all the
hand?
games that are streaming on Twitch. Yeah, it wiped off my hand. I got to write it again. Um, I like how ASMR is a section on Twitch now.
ASMR games.
Well, you know, like just how like there's I don't know how much you're on Twitch, but they have like a section now for just chatting, which is just like either a talk show or literally just talking to your audience or whatever. But that's the sixth most popular. It's not a game, but it's a section streaming right now at 97,000.
Well, ASMR?
No, that's just chatting.
Oh.
AMR is at like 2,000 right now, which is still a lot. One of the games I'm looking forward to seems like a Russian sort of. It's a first person game, a shooter more or less, and it's sort of like pseudo horror with robots and some pretty interesting visuals. I think it's from a pretty unknown studio, so I'm kind of reserving judgment on it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mundfish.
yeah, have they done other stuff? I haven't looked.
Oh, wait, they have one more. Soviet Luna Park VR.
I just wanted to make sure it was actually Russian before I said that, and it was like Ukrainian or something. Yeah, I don't know. It looks cool.
They seem very new.
Yeah, they are. But I mean, the trailer. When you look at the trailer, it seems pretty cool. The gameplay seems a little wonky that I've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like I don't know if it'll be a day one purchase for me, but I am interested. In a sort of similar vein, have you heard of The Outer Worlds? It's basically like a.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about this because one of the characters looks familiar.
It's basically like a post-apocalyptic, futuristic game. It's by some of the people who worked on, like the original Fallout and Fallout New Vegas. It's Obsidian.
Mm-hmm.
So that looks interesting. And I think a lot of people are looking at it with a lot of hope just because a lot of people have sort of given up on Bethesda with the recent developments in terms of Fallout 76 and whatnot.
Right.
So they're kind of hoping for a good game out of them. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it definitely looks like it has like less budget behind it than
Fallout.
something like a Fallout 4, but though I actually like how it looks better than Fallout 4 because I was never really a fan of the visuals in Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
But Fallout 4 rather, sort of going for like a colorful, slightly sillier thing. I mean, in a way, I hope it doesn't quite try to go as silly as something like Borderlands or something like that. But
I was just about to say that the font kind of reminds me of Borderlands. That it's going for like a silly kind of thing.
Yeah, there's actually an interview on YouTube. I think Game Informer did, and they were basically talking about uh, the comedy in the game and sort of how they prevent it from being too silly. But then like there's also opportunities that you could, if you could make it silly if you want to. Like it's sort of a classic Fallout thing where if you make your character have really low intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
then they have dialogue options that are like less intelligent. So you can basically just make a dumbass who has no idea what's going on. Um, and so like in Fallout, that would mean like if you were really dumb, like a lot of your dialogue would just be like duh. Um, they're trying to avoid that, they
Okay.
said. Um, but it's more so like the way they're looking at it is when the character's really dumb, basically the information that the player is picking up on, the character doesn't really fully understand.
Okay.
So like context clues and stuff like that, situational awareness isn't picked up on. So I think that could be kind of funny. Um, I just hope it's not all too silly and they sort of. I mean, I never get too into um, the lore and story of games usually, just because usually I don't find it too compelling. But I hope they at least try to. I'm sure they will, but I hope it's something that I'll be interested in actually hearing out the story rather than just playing. Although if the gameplay is good, then that's fine too.
Yeah. That's it. I've heard good things about it. It came up. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't remember how exactly it came up on a recommended for me, but it did. It looks pretty interesting. But yeah, it does remind me a lot of Fallout and Borderlands a bit.
Yeah. One other game I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'm looking forward to. I mean, I could talk all podcast about this, but um, I can't remember if I can't remember if we talked about this, but have I talked about Outward?
I don't think so.
Um, so basically, Outward it's developed by Nine Dot Studio, which is just I believe it's like 10 people,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of how they're selling it is, and a couple of other games have done this as well, I think, but or tried to do it. It's basically you're not the chosen one. Like you don't have like miraculous powers or anything. You're not destined to win in this game or whatever. You're just sort of a normal adventurer.
Right, just someone in the world.
Right. And so like stuff like combat and all that, there's a lot more thought that goes into it, sort of like how in real life, if you were going to fight if you were going to fight a bear in real life, like how much preparation would you put into that?
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. But it looks interesting. I mean, it is a small studio. Some of the gameplay does look a little janky, but um, I'm very interested in seeing how it turns out. It's coming out in it says March 26th. It was originally slated for February, I think, but they pushed it back. Which I mean, hey, if they need that time to make it a better game, then I'm all for it. I think it's releasing at $40 as well, so it's not a $60 game. Um, but
This
one of the
actually,
cool things of
I was just gonna say this actually looks pretty interesting to me.
yeah, I'm definitely interested. I think I probably will pick it up on launch. Um, and so like just a couple cool things about it. They're not paying me, so I won't shill for them too hard. But um, basically, like there's a bunch of different. I think they said around 90. There's about 90 different death scenarios, which is basically like depending on how you die, uh, certain things happen. So like if you get killed by bandits in a certain area,
Mm-hmm.
um, maybe it'll give you like a splash screen of like telling you what happens or whatever. And so it's like maybe someone walked along and found you, but the bandits stole your bag.
Right.
And so like now your stuff is with the bandits and you have to go get it. Or if you don't go get it, maybe it'll be gone for good or something like that. Or different scenarios like that where, okay, you've been knocked out and now you've been put in a jail sort of thing. It's sort of, in a way, it sort of reminds me a little bit of D&D, where it's sort of like these dynamic scenarios that happen when you die. Um, and then one other drawing factor it has for me is that it has uh, it has online multiplayer, but then it also has local split screen multiplayer, which is something that I feel like a lot of games don't do anymore, and so I
Yeah.
sort of appreciate that, um, especially for a $40 game. That's pretty cool. It seems like a game that I would like to play with somebody.
I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep an eye on that game too.
And what's cool is that I think on Twitch and on YouTube, uh, Nine Dot has a couple of streams up of like developer commentary or whatever of them just like playing the game and like answering questions in the chat. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're being pretty transparent as far as I can tell about like what the game will have, what it won't have, and then sort of showing it off to people. So I appreciate that. And the dev I saw seemed pretty genuine and interested in what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think they won a grant. I think from like a I don't know exactly how it works, but I think in Canada they put a lot more money into the arts. Basically, like the government sort of provides a lot of grants, and so I think this game won like $1 million grant from the Canadian government in order to fund it, which is kind of interesting because at first they were going like the crowdfunding path,
Mm-hmm.
and then they sort of got this. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they use those resources because they've been working on it for I think it's been like 5 years because they are quite a small team. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on that one and probably pick it up day one.
What's the name of the studio?
Nine Dot Studio.
Nine Dot.
About the same time that Outward is coming out, actually. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a bit of a Souls boy. I'm a bit of a, I'm a bit of a From Software fan, and so I don't really like sort of like Eastern settings in combat action combat games. Like I sort of prefer being uh, more of a knight rather than a a samurai or something along those lines. But I mean, they've proven that they're very competent in making games, and it looks pretty interesting. A little fast paced, sort of more along the lines of Bloodborne or something like that.
Uh huh.
Um, so I am looking at that. I don't know if I'll pick it up day one. I'm not sure, but I am excited for it.
What was it called again?
Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
I might be thinking of a different game because there's another samurai game coming out.
Well, there's also sure there's Neo 2,
No, not that. Fuck that game.
and then there's also well, I was about to just because like I was talking about like I don't really like the sort of Eastern setting. Um, just stylistically, it doesn't do anything for me. But I played Neo all the way through. Oh, didn't I? I borrowed it from you, didn't I?
Did you? I don't think you did because I remember you explicitly saying you didn't want to.
Did you have it though? I
I
can't
did,
remember.
and then I played it a bit, and you watched me play it a bit. The game just pissed me off. I couldn't.
Oh yeah, I remember you got caught up on that one. You were telling me that one girl, the one boss
Yeah,
that like
the
flew around.
yeah, she teleports and flies around, and I was just like, nah,
Mm.
you know what? Yeah, I'm good.
Uh, I could have sworn I borrowed yours. I think I did. I'm like 95%
Yeah,
sure
yeah, yeah.
that I did.
But you didn't play it all the way through, did you? Back
Yeah, I
then.
did.
Back then, you played it all the way through.
Hmm. I didn't buy it or anything. It was just when I borrowed it from you, I just played it all the way through.
All right. I don't remember that, but all right.
Um, but I played it all the way through. But don't let that make it seem like I enjoyed it. I did not. um,
I played
it
it
was
at
just
some
like
point.
yeah, basically at Katana point. Um, I feel like I talked about this before, but sometimes with games they just feel off to me, like they just feel slightly like incomplete somehow,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is sort of a feeling I've gotten from like Dragon's Dogma and a couple other games like that. Um, but it was just not. It just felt a lot looser than what I'm used to with action combat from stuff like Dark Souls or Bloodborne or something along those lines.
Right.
Um, and also, it sort of has the problem that some of the later, like Dark Souls 3 and whatnot, have that the bosses tend to be sort of what I like to call like anime fights, basically,
Mm-hmm.
where they have like a million attacks in a row and then they like teleport to like another side of the room. And then so it's like everything moves so fast that it's more so a memorization game than anything
It was all
because they're just
patterns.
making, yeah, they're just making impossible moves. And obviously, I know this is a fantasy thing. Like, I get that. But I definitely do not enjoy that as much as something that's a little more grounded and sort of understanding. Like, I like having a big monster boss or something like that as compared to like having the most of the bosses in Sekiro. I felt like were just humans who would fly around and like fuck you shit up. Um, Not a huge fan of that, but I know the sequel is coming out. There's also another uh, game kind of like that. I can't remember what I feel like it had something to do with rose petals or something. Um,
Well, the game I was thinking of when you said Sekiro, I was thinking of Ghost of Tsushima.
I think that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful game, like design wise and everything.
Hmm.
It looks really well done. It does look interesting. I haven't heard about it for a while though.
Well, no, ever since it got announced, because I feel like all these games got announced at the same. Was it E3? I can't remember.
I think so.
Or at least Neo 2 and Ghost. And I remember they had the white guy come out and play the flute. Do you remember that?
Somewhat. I can't remember exactly, but it
I'm
does sound
definitely going to
familiar.
link that. I'm going to link that in the description because people really had a fun time with that. Um, it was like the most awkward thing. Like people were just waiting for games, and then on the big screen they had like these cherry blossoms or whatever, and the petals are falling, and then this white dude in like one of those like the upside down bowl shaped hat kind of thing,
Huh.
and like a kimono or some shit. I'm sure it wasn't a kimono. I'm ignorant, but he comes out on stage with the flute and just plays the flute for like 10 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And like, I mean, I'm not somebody who's like, oh, you're representing Asian culture. You have to have an Asian person. It's like, no, but the first thing that comes to my mind is why did you get a white guy to do this? Like, it was really funny. I enjoyed that. But I haven't really heard anything about that other game. I'm not looking forward to Neo 2. I will not be playing that.
Yeah, me neither.
But Sekiro looks interesting. There's a lot of I know it's a buzzword now, but there's a lot of verticality, um, and sort of talking about Apex Legends and Black Ops 4. There's a like a grappling hook type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of moving around. There's a lot of fast moving. There's a lot of sword play where you're parrying and whatnot. The visuals do give me sort of flashbacks to Neo, which makes me very sad. But
Mm.
I mean, as it stands now, I'm 100% sure that it'll be a better game. I just don't know if it'll be the game for me, but I'll see. That comes out March 22nd. What about
Nice.
you, Ray?
Well, you mentioned the split screen thing, and
Yeah.
that's a big part of one game I'm really excited about, which is a remaster of Crash Team Racing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. When is that coming out?
Like soon ish. Summer?
Soon, TM.
Release date
June 21st.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that I am looking forward to a lot. I love the Crash Bandicoot games. I love the Crash Bash and Crash Team
They
Racing.
need to redo Crash. I feel like Crash Bash wasn't as popular,
No, it wasn't.
but that if they remade that, I'd thoroughly enjoy it.
Crash Team Racing was my
Crash
favorite
Team Racing
Crash
was
game,
great, though.
That was my favorite one.
Really, your favorite Crash game?
That was my favorite Crash game. Just because that was like the one game that my sister would play.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a bunch of games that just didn't appeal to her. But this one's simple enough, racing with like attacks. So, and all my cousins would play too. So we would always play. So that I'm really looking forward. And I had no idea it was actually coming out. I think I said to you, like, dude, they need to remake this. And you're like, they are. It comes out in a few months. I'm like, what? Yeah, and then one of the big things they announced about it was split screen. And to me, that was kind of weird. Because I'm like, what happened to split screen? 'Cause I don't really play a lot of multiplayer games. So
It's a very strange thing that's gone away. I mean, I feel like, everyone just has consoles now, so I guess it's more so. They expect online multiplayer, but having that option is always appreciated.
Yeah.
Especially with something like Crash Team Racing, where you remember that. You remember having that split screen and not being able to see anything. Yeah, all this to say, like, not that split screen is like amazing to play with, because you're always going to start like looking at the wrong screen or something like that. But I don't know. It's very nostalgic, just like Crash Team Racing is.
So I'm definitely getting that. The other one is Last of Us 2. Very much looking forward to that. Like I said, it was.
When's that coming out?
I don't think they have like a set release date just yet. It's either this year or next year. Yeah, no release date yet. But according to Game Devolution, it looks poised for a release in 2019.
2019 is going to be a big year, man.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Ellie. What they do with Joel.
She's probably going to kiss some girls.
Yeah, that's apparently people were upset about that trailer where she kissed that girl.
Well, people are upset about everything.
Yeah.
But I think I haven't watched it in such a long time. That was a whole weird setup too, because they had everyone get into like, all the people watching it got into like this chapel type thing. Do you remember watching that, or did you?
No, I only watched like the video of the video announcements,
right?
Not the reaction to it until much later.
Yeah, they basically had everyone get into this like other set, and they watched it. I think just for The Last of Us. And I think someone else played some sort of flute or what. I don't know what the fuck it was. That was a weird year.
Guy. No, for this one they got an Asian guy.
Yeah, they got an Asian guy to play the banjo. I think someone was playing the banjo actually. I can't remember, but
maybe you're just thinking of Ellie playing the guitar.
Maybe. I haven't watched it, but I do remember it striking me kind of odd, because like it seemed like the focal point of the trailer was also, she was very sweaty. I remember that. The focal point was just like her kissing this girl.
Yeah.
Whereas like it's a zombie game. I mean, cool, Ellie. I don't really. I don't know.
Yeah. From I don't know, people felt it was forced. Seemed a little too on the nose. Like I didn't.
I mean, everything is forced because it's a game, right? They made it.
Yeah.
It was. I can't exactly put my finger on why it was odd, but probably because it's a sin, I guess.
To have a nose that big.
But yeah, I just remember her character being very sweaty, and then kissing this girl, and that was basically the preview.
She was nervous, man.
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to rewatch this. I'm gonna have to link that in the description.
No, well, basically, she's at this dance. She's talking to some guy, and make a reference to Joel, and they're like, yeah, whatever, blah blah blah. Basically, the hint that maybe that Ellie and Joel aren't on the best of terms at the moment, and
I thought he was dead or something.
that's a theory. People aren't sure.
We're not on the best of terms. He's dead.
I killed him. Meanwhile, she's watching that girl the whole time, and then the girl is like, "Oh, dance with me," and Ellie's a little awkward because she likes her, but she doesn't think she could go for it, and then they kiss. So I'm like, all right. I mean,
Oh, that's why it was weird. I had a fucking boner the whole time. Wait, is her character an adult yet?
yeah, at least 16.
Okay.
Maybe I think 18,
Uh,
but at least 16.
That's not good enough. We're gonna have to cut it. That's the thing is like you're talking about like she's unsure if she should go for it or whatever. It's like, why is that the trailer for this game? Like,
well, I think what I don't know what I got from it because I didn't really get the criticism with that. Not until like it was like pointed out to me why people didn't like it, but I saw it as the typical storytelling device where this is how it was and now she's here. So flashback, present, flashback, present, flashback, present. She finally gets this girl and then boom, something happened. The girl's probably dead.
I think we should take like a 3-minute break, and I'm gonna watch this trailer right now. We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
I think it's like a 15-minute trailer because it's with gameplay.
If it is, then fuck it. But let me see.
Because it was like the gameplay reveal type thing. The short trailer is with Joel.
And so that's the thing, right? So the chapel type thing that they had the guests all file into was the same sort of thing that was in the preview. So like that's where the dance was in the game with like the lights and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like, oh yeah, this girl is really sweaty.
We're talking about the girl she kisses, right?
Yes.
Well, she was dancing, so.
Yeah, that sweat
activity.
technology is something else. She does have a big nose. Oh yeah, and then she asks her, "How bad do I smell?" And then she smells her.
Yeah. Weird. But
It was a little. Oh, and then she rubs her sweaty face on her. Like it seems a lot
I'm
like some
glad
sort of
she's
fetish
dead.
shit to me.
I think that girl died.
Yeah.
So.
She was too sweaty to keep up.
Yeah, she was dehydrated.
I like the juxtaposition between her kissing this girl and then her stabbing that zombie in the neck.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of like, okay, like things are good here and then things are not so good. But I guess it's just kind of maybe part of the reaction is just because it's sort of an awkward thing for all these people in the crowd to watch, where like the first 3 minutes is this girl asking her if she smells bad, and then she rubs her sweaty face on her.
Yeah, that could be it.
I don't think it has much to do with her being a girl, and then
being gay.
it's just more so like no, it's just more so like that would be weird even if it was a guy or whatever. Like I'm sure some people hate it because of the gay thing, and that's whatever. But
yeah, there are people who hate it because of the gay thing, or not necessarily that it's gay. It's just that it's the gayness is forced.
they're forcing me to be gay. I
because-
can't do anything about it.
I didn't even know this, but the person who conducted the interview after the reveal was someone who was not in the gaming industry at all, and she was a gay rights person or a feminist. Was she feminist or gay rights something like that? Someone, and then they made the whole interview about that aspect of the game.
Who made the interview about that?
The interviewer, I guess.
Oh,
And maybe Neil Druckmann too. He's getting criticized for that kind of stuff too.
who's Neil Druckmann?
The director of the game.
I don't know. It's like I don't know if I necessarily want to go into this as a whole topic, but
No, not really. But
it's I look forward to the day when it's not such a it's both not so much a controversial thing, and then also not so much a selling point to
Yeah,
have gay characters. It's just another thing.
yeah, same.
Like
Because
we're on the way, but it's just not there quite yet.
yeah, because the way I feel about it is just give me a good story where you do these characters justice in terms of if they're gonna go out, and die, have it be a good death.
Right.
You know, don't don't change what we know about these characters. And we've known Ellie is gay from the first game,
Yeah, from the DLC.
the DLC, and a little, I think like a one or two hints there. Um, it's just like, yeah, that's cool, and the story is great. That's all I care about, really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you gotta like, it is a story-driven game.
Yeah,
So like, it isn't quite as weird as I'm saying to just have this story element so far in the front of the trailer,
yeah,
as opposed to the game. Because I mean, that at the end of the day, that is what it is. It's a story-driven game.
hmm
Um, but yeah, it's just sort of what I said. It's just like everybody. It feels like a lot of people, at least, if they're not, offended by having a gay character, which if you are, I think that's very stupid. Um, but if it's not that, then they're sort of cautious because they feel like companies will sort of use that for like
to sell.
inclusion points, basically,
Yeah,
like so that people will see this as a leader in acceptance and whatnot, which is great. But
yeah,
uh, if they're using it as a selling point for the game, it's sort of like But
yeah, because
that's all conjecture.
if at the end of the day that's all Last of Us 2 offers.
It's just a lesbian kissing simulator.
Yeah, if that's all really they're selling, it's all it offers at the end after we play the game. Like, people are gonna be upset because it's been years since the first game. People love the first
Yeah.
game,
No,
and
I mean, it definitely won't be that.
yeah,
That's the thing.
yeah, and I don't know. I think Naughty Dog, they have a good uh, reputation. I know they kind of.
I
I
mean,
heard
they
they.
came out with Crash Team Racing.
Mm, I heard they dropped the ball a bit with that. What's that Nathan Drake game? Uncharted. The
Uncharted.
not the one where he's the main character, where it's the two girls.
Oh, I have no idea.
I forget what it's called, but from what I've heard, that wasn't well received. I don't think they'll drop the ball in this game. At least I hope they don't. And
I don't think so. I mean, from what you see of the game, it looks good. It looks sort of a
that's pretty
similar
amazing.
type fare.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, and last thing I'll say about that is I'm interested to see what they do with the story about who I believe is her mom, Ellie's mom.
Was that something in the trailer, or was that something?
Yeah, there was a bit in the trailer where this woman was like tied up and about to have her guts like sliced out. She got out of it. Uh, I think she was being attacked by fireflies. People think it's Ellie's mom and her story of like, how she got pregnant with Ellie and then how she died, just to fill in that gap. Like a bit of backstory into how Ellie got to her situation, and then I want to see what's happened to Joel. Is he dead? Is he alive? Does he die? Yeah, a lot of questions. Really looking forward to having them answered.
Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Z.
I just want to. I'm gonna post this in the chat. But when I searched up Crash Team Racing, this came up, and I just thought it was interesting.
Poshmark. What the fuck?
Wow, that's a long link.
What is this?
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Those actual diamonds?
I mean, for that price, they better be. I don't see specifications here.
How much is it?
1,400 US.
Jesus.
It says real 0.925 sterling silver Migos wrapper Quavo pendant.
Real Boosagon.
Oh, does he have a pendant like that? Now I gotta look this up.
I confuse his name with what he says.
Oh, he does have a Crash Bandicoot pendant. That's interesting.
I just realized that two masks that we know in the game are Aku Aku and Uka Uka, which is just just pretty lazy.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, but it's also a kids game.
Classic game, classic naming convention.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the other game I'm interested in is Cyberpunk 2077, and that's,
oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, mostly because of CD Projekt Red, because the Witcher games are incredible. So I think story-wise they're gonna make something great there. It is a first-person game. I'm not big on first-person.
As you play Apex Legends.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not my favorite. I'll play if I like the game enough. I'll play it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I liked what's that zombie game? Days no.
What, DayZ or
No. It came out like a few years ago. Daylight.
describe it?
Dying Light.
Oh, Dying Light. Yeah,
That was fun. I liked that game. But I'm not.
that was
typically
first person, right?
Yeah,
The
it was
parkour
first-person.
game.
Yeah, not my favorite way. I like third person point of view games, but Cyberpunk looks really cool. The game design looks awesome. They're working with like a bunch of musicians too to make this soundtrack. I heard Kanye was part of it.
Really?
Yeah, that they were gonna talk to him. They tweeted him something like that. I think this. I heard this game that with your character, it's a lot more customized. You can do a lot more customizing than you did with Geralt.
Mm.
You can choose whether you're playing as a man or woman. Upgrade your jacket, things like that. You have a car.
Just your jacket, though.
Yeah, you have a car that you can upgrade. Like you can upgrade your robot eye, your robot arms, things like that.
Oh, so there's like cybernetic enhancements, sort of like what's that game? Deus Ex.
Yeah. Like one of the first missions they showed, the first 20 minutes or whatever it was your character getting an eye upgrade, so that you could tag enemies for when you want to shoot them. I can't remember exactly what it was. It's been a while, but it was something like that. You got an eye upgrade. He got an arm upgrade as well.
Yeah, I really haven't seen much at all about this game, I guess then. No, that sounds cool. Do you know when it's supposed to come out?
They're saying most likely next year.
It appears that CD Projekt Red is hoping that it will be sometime in early 2019.
Okay.
It was suggested in an investor call that Cyberpunk 2077 would be released before June 2019.
Before June?
Oh. And that's what Tech Radar is saying. I don't know if I believe them, but
oh right, there was a tweet from a Turkish publisher that said the game was going to come out in 2019. But it was like deleted right away after it was tweeted that. I think it's going to be late this year or early next year.
You heard it here first, folks. I mean, look, even if it doesn't come out this year, there's plenty of games coming out. So,
yeah. Yep.
And I've got plenty of games I still need to get through.
Oh, speaking of music.
Were we?
Yeah, the Kanye and everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I listened to the new Weezer album.
Right, the Teal album.
Yeah, I fucking love it, dude. It's so good.
So walk me through it. Is it just covers?
It's just covers. Weezer. I just googled Weezer's. Weezer is officially the most expensive cover band in the world.
Most expensive? You mean like the highest paid, or?
Yeah, basically. If you wanted to hire a cover band for a wedding.
Yeah, do they do weddings? That'd be freaking sweet.
All right, I'm gonna walk you through the track list.
Take me through it.
So number 1 is Africa, Toto.
Classic. Well, that came out like they put it out before the album came out, right?
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff. I think of the album, everything came out. The last one came out recently, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Africa, and I think that was like what got the hype going for the album.
Yeah, taking advantage of the meme status.
Yeah. Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears.
I don't know that one.
That's a great song. I think you do know it. It was on GTA San Andreas.
Hmm.
Everybody wants to rule the
Oh, yes.
And then 3, which might be my favorite or second favorite, is Sweet Dreams Are Made of This.
Sure. Yeah.
That one's a good one. Take On Me.
Classic.
Happy Together.
Who's that by?
Turtles. So happy together.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't see me loving nobody but you. And then there's Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Mr. Blue Sky. No Scrubs, which is also really good. That one's so good. I sent it to one of our friends, and she's like, "This is better than the original."
Now, do they sing it in Weezer style?
What do you mean by Weezer style?
I mean, that's hard to explain, isn't it? I mean, they're. I was just gonna say their style again.
Their style.
You know what I'm saying, though, like how Weezer performs songs. Or do they try to match like the original?
What I was gonna say was they kind of sound more like the band they're covering.
Okay.
Especially like Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Like even Africa, it's Weezer, but it's definitely not changing the song too much, if at all. Take On Me sounds like it could be Aha. It sounds a lot like the original, just like maybe a bit more modern.
Right.
Just a slightly different vibe to it. You know what I mean? Like there was a comment on one of the YouTube videos for Mr. Blue Sky. He said that the original version by Electric Light Orchestra, listening to that reminded that guy of sitting on a park bench on a sunny day. Whereas the Weezer version, just to him, it was more like riding on a bicycle on the way home from school or something.
Now let me ask you, Ray, what the fuck does that mean?
I don't know, but it's a different.
Is that how
vibe.
people review music now? This one reminds me of when my dad beat me as a child, but this one reminded me of when we went to a ball game. It's like something that's completely context sensitive to you, and no one else has any idea.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. The last 2 songs are Billie Jean and Stand By Me.
Man, they really went for the real classics.
Yeah.
I feel like you open yourself up to criticism pretty easily doing that, though. How's the reception?
People like it.
Yeah?
Yeah. And what's funny is, too, I feel like these songs are also... Well, most of them have become memes, a lot of these songs.
Mm-hmm.
Africa, Take On Me. No Scrubs to an extent, I guess.
Sort of, yeah, in the past a little bit. They seem to have picked, classic songs, but also ones that are relevant to modern listeners.
Well, yeah, like "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This" was in X-Men Apocalypse,
Hmm.
and I know that like it kind of brought the song back a bit because it was when they did that throwback scene with Quicksilver saving everyone in slow mo because he's quick.
The scene from that trailer.
Is that from the trailer?
I believe it's from one of the trailers. Or maybe I just saw it on. I can't remember.
Well,
That's like the one scene I've seen from the movie.
Was it in the Xavier Mansion or was it in a kitchen?
It was on a warm summer day, and I was on a park bench.
No, because like
I can't. I think it was in the mansion.
Okay, yeah, because they've done it twice. The first time they did it, they used the song "Time in a Bottle" by Jim Croce. I think that's how
They should have done "Message in a Bottle." Classic song. I can't remember who did it actually.
The Police.
Yeah, where?
That's the sound of the
That's a great
police.
Yeah, Weezer should have covered that one. Weezer should have covered "I'm in Love with the Coco."
Oh, yes, a classic throwback song.
Classic. It was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it. That's the end of our 6th episode of the Mebois Podcast. Let us know if you enjoy this longer form content as compared to the slightly shorter long form content. And if you like what you hear, and leave us a like. If you want to keep on hearing it, you can subscribe. Do all those things. Just to let us know that people are out there listening.